Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. How was your week, everyone? No different than previous week, right? All right. So, welcome to session 4 of our theme, which is called as Secrets of Eternal Happiness. Whatever we speak is based on the timeless teachings of the Bhagavad-Gita. Today our specific focus will be on what are the blockers or what are the impediments to eternal happiness. But before we begin today's class, I would like to welcome all of you and especially the people who are coming for the first time. Anyone who's coming for the first time to this program? Yes, there, the gentleman there. Yes, yourself. Yes. So, okay, let me make it easy on you. That's the format of the introduction. So, if you could introduce yourself in that way. Your name, how many years you lived in Melbourne, profession, who have you come with, and single sentence of what you expect from this seminar.
My name is Soumya.
Saumil.
Soumya.
How do you spell that?
S-O-M-Y.
Saumya. Okay.
Soumya.
Saumya. Okay.
And I've been in Melbourne for around 6.5 years now. By profession, I'm an accountant.
Okay.
I'm here with my wife and my daughter.
Okay. Where are they? Okay, there.
Somewhere out there.
Okay.
And just trying to understand what these lessons are all about, the life lessons. Yeah, that's my expectation.
Thank you, Saumya. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, would your better half like to introduce herself? I mean, so it's a family, or is it easier to, based on the mic logistics?
Not sure.
Okay, then we'll do one thing. We'll let the ladies there introduce themselves. The ladies to your right hand side.
Hi, my name is Mia Farouche.
Maya.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've lived in Melbourne all my life.
Okay.
So profession, occupation, I work in the finance industry.
Mhm.
And I've come with my sister Raylene.
Relay.
Yeah, Raylene, yes.
Raylene. Okay.
And what am I trying to get out of this? It's just an addition to my spiritual journey.
What has been your spiritual journey? I mean, you follow any specific type of faith or any specific?
So I've been brought up Catholic.
Very nice.
But I'm just open to other things.
Okay. So during this seminar, you will see pretty much everything that what the great Lord Jesus Christ said. Pretty much you will see all commonalities here. There's nothing different fundamentally to what he said. Jesus Christ, we all know, is one of the purest messengers of God that we have had. And many of us can sit and speak all this philosophy, but how many of us can really give up our life in the pursuit of giving the message of God to people? And he was that example, right? So very nice to hear that you have been practicing Catholic. I'm so very happy to hear this. Thank you. Welcome. Yes, I would like your sister also to introduce herself. Yes.
Hi, my name is Raylene. I've also been here all my life. I run my own business with my sister.
Okay.
To gain introspection, and I think Bhagavad-Gita, the core foundation of that is to learn about self through God.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you very much. We hope to do justice to your expectations.
thank you.
We'll work hard. Thank you. Can pass the mic to. Oh yes, sir. Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Robert and I've lived in Melbourne for almost 7 years. I've come with my parents,
Oh,
my dad,
Hare Krishna.
and
Namaste.
my mom is sitting over there.
Namaste ji. Hare Krishna.
And just to start to know Krishna better, I guess,
Okay.
and to know what and how I can contribute
Okay.
to
Thank you.
Krishna and others.
Okay. Nice. I lost your profession. What did you say you were
Oh,
doing?
I didn't say that.
Okay. I thought I lost it.
I am an IT professional.
Okay. What do you do in IT?
I'm working as a managed services consultant.
Okay. Any specific platform or?
It's multi-platforms,
Okay.
like cloud, security as well,
Okay.
and networks.
All right. Okay. Great. Thank you. Welcome, Rohit. Your father would like to speak something or introduce himself, or you already done that, but would he like to articulate his expectations from this program? Because all of us are different spirit souls.
He would be speaking Hindi.
That's okay.
He wants-
Perfectly fine. हिंदी में बोलिए आप. I'll translate in English for all of you.
हेलो नमस्कार जी सबको मेरी तरफ से
Namaste.
नगेंद्र मलिक मेरा नाम है इंडिया से हूँ यूपी से मेरठ मैं एक बार आया हूँ घूमने के लिए आया हूँ बेटे के पास मेरे साथ मेरी वाइफ थैंक यू
Thank you. Thank you. So he said that. Oh yeah, you want to translate? Yeah, you can. Yeah.
No, he just said that he's
Yeah.
visiting me for a couple of months.
Mhm.
So we will be going back on 23rd.
Okay.
So getting to know Australia, getting them visit different places for the last few months.
Nice. Welcome. Yes. So you can pass the mic around.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This is my second class, but first time I was missed. I'm from New Zealand. I was being there like 12 years and my husband from 14 years. But in the last 4-5 years, I've been in the devotee association. So that's why I'm here. I was like कि 3-4 साल से मैं वहाँ पर उसी एसोसिएशन में थी सब कुछ चल रहा था बट हम लोग यहाँ पे आ गए तो फिर मैंने फाइंड किया अपने मैं वैरवी में रहती हूँ इस वक्त तो वैरवी में मैं ऑलरेडी वहाँ पे भक्ति वृक्षा से जुड़ी हुई हूँ क्योंकि मैं पामस्टर नॉर्थ से थी तो वहाँ पर भी मैं भक्ति वृक्षा से थी संजीवा प्रभु जी के एसोसिएशन
Very big.
पामस्टर नॉर्थ न्यूजीलैंड में
न्यूजीलैंड,
प्रभु जी।
okay.
तो उन्होंने ही फिर वो अभी फीजी में ट्रिप था गुरु महाराज जी के साथ तो वो यहाँ के डिवोटी से कनेक्ट हुए फिर उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि यहाँ पर होता है तो आप वहाँ पे जाओ
Nice.
तो दैट्स व्हाई उन्हीं के एसोसिएशन में थी सब कुछ था तो आज इसलिए मैं डिवोटी
आपका नाम एक बार पूछ सकता हूँ मैं?
मेरा नाम शिखा शर्मा है
शिखा शर्मा जी.
हाँ
Welcome
जी।
to the program.
थैंक यू
Thank you. Thank you. माता जी. हो गया? कुछ नहीं बोलना चाहोगे आप? एटलीस्ट हमको आशीर्वाद तो दीजिए.
मैं बोलना चाहूँगी मेरी मम्मी मेरठ से हैं
Thank you so much. Anyone else coming for the first time? Oh yes.
My name is Khushbu and I've lived in Melbourne for 10 years now. I am a homemaker. I'm also a part-time business analyst and I'm also into content creation. I have come here with my 5-year-old daughter. She's in the children's class.
Okay.
And,
What's her name?
Her name is Arya. And I'm actually looking to find how to be content in life. You know, like खुशी नहीं मिलती सब कुछ पाके भी we look for more and more and more so I want to find like how to be content with what you have and you know be happy with everything
Okay.
so yeah that's why I'm here
Okay. Even the content experts are not, or content
Yeah.
experts are not content.
exactly
Okay. Thank you. Welcome. Anyone else we missed for the first time? All right. Okay. So, just for the benefit of newcomers, very quickly, a recap. I'll be very brief because others have heard it and they have heard it last week as well. So, I'm going to be very brief. And if you have any questions on this, you may ask me at the end of the program, okay? For the newcomers. What is the aim of the seminar? It is to systematically introduce to participants, in essence, the science of the Bhagavad-Gita and its practical application in today's context in making our lives truly happy. So in the first program that we did, we focused on these words which are in bold and in yellow. Okay, the word systematically. So understanding the science of self realization is a systematic process. One can't rush oneself into it. What do they say? We can't put the cart before the horse. Is that right? Yeah. So we have to go very systematically and slowly. There is concept after concept after concept, and it keeps building to give you that holistic understanding of what is it that Bhagavad Gita talks about. So it will be introduced in a systematic fashion. So we have broken down our entire message into various logical themes, and there is a method behind the madness, if you like. There is a flow that is there, a systematic logical flow. We are going to give you the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a book which has got 700 verses. Okay, we are not going to go verse by verse, and even if we go verse by verse, it's very difficult for someone to understand Bhagavad Gita just when you open it and start reading it. Even for example, when we read the Testament, it's very difficult for us to just understand what is given there unless someone who is more experienced than us, who's practicing spirituality, guides us with their knowledge and, more importantly, their realizations about life. So those realizations give us that clarity of whatever is there in the book, right? Needless to say, there is this process. We are not talking about some mundane religious process here, right? We are not going to be talking about mundane religious mundane religious tenets or whatever, right? We are going to be speaking something deeper than what you would have normally heard or studied in your day-to-day life. There is no university in this world, unfortunately, which talks about the science of the soul, right? There are departments. Even Harvard University has got a department for religious studies. But really, who are the people who take to religious studies? Most of the people, if you go to Harvard, what will you take? Most people go for MBA, right? Right? So people go for MBA, or people will go for law, or people go for medicine. But rarely anyone will go to Harvard and take religious studies there, right? So pretty much the department which deals with religion or which deals with spirituality, it doesn't have many takers in this world. So, but if the more we talk about religion and spirituality, we will see that it is a science. It's not something just sentimental. There is a science to it. And as we progress in this program, you will see that there is a science and logic behind it. The basis of our teachings will be the Bhagavad-Gita. Now, when we say Bhagavad-Gita is often misunderstood to be the holy book of the Indians. No. That is the first myth. It's a big myth, right? God is not Indian, nor is God American or Australian, right? God is the father of everyone, right? So, the message of Bhagavad Gita is universal. There is no word called as India in Bhagavad Gita. There is no word even called as Bharat Desh or Hindustan. There is nothing like that, right? And its practical application. Spirituality is not something which is armchair philosophy, where we just sit and say, oh, I love this knowledge so much. I felt so peaceful in my heart. And then do nothing about it. We have to do something. If we call ourselves spiritual, it means we have to do something practical, right? Knowledge will become realization only when there is practice based on the foundational principles of that knowledge. Okay. If the 10 commandments say, thou shalt not kill, I may be a PhD in the 10 commandments. I may be able to speak very eloquently of the 10 commandments. But if I go on killing people and I say, thou shalt not kill, I know the 10 commandments. How does that sound? It sounds absurd because I'm not practicing whatever I know. So that knowledge will never become wisdom. It will never become realization. So what we are going to talk here is going to be practical application of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, there will be concepts, there will be theory, And then that theory will lead to, that knowledge, it will slowly lead to conviction. And the conviction will then lead to practice, and practice will lead to realization. So that's the journey of any spiritual seeker, if you see. In today's context, so we are not going to give some instructions in this class, right? We are never going to give any instructions throughout this seminar. We will not say, "Thou shall do it." No, nothing like that. Spirituality is entirely an individual's free will, and we are not going to interfere with anyone's free will. If after hearing all this, you say, "I choose not to do anything about it," that's fine. That's your choice, right? But at least you know Hare Krishna. At least you know, right? So, nor are we going to say things which you can't do in this lifetime. Like we said last time, if I tell all of you, renounce this world and proceed towards the mountains and live the life of a hermit, it's not practical, because Monday we have to go to office. You have to run your business. You have your finance job, right? Who will do that, right? So how to live in this world, how to do activities in this world, how to execute our responsibilities in this world and still not be touched by this world, still not be impacted by whatever nonsense is going on in this world. Does it make sense? The best example I can give of this is the drop of water which is on top of a leaf. The water doesn't merge into the leaf, right? It's there on the leaf, but it's not off the leaf and it doesn't get impacted by the leaf. It's on top of the leaf. So how to live in this world without getting impacted by what's going on? Rather, we create a positive impact in this world. But we need to arm ourselves with knowledge and practice and realization. Realization brings with it purity, internal purity as well as external purity. External purity is of no use if there's no internal purity. External purity actually is a symptom of internal purity, right? So through this process, we hope to purify our own consciousness with this knowledge and with the practice of that knowledge. And when we do that, we will become lesser and lesser reliant on others to give us happiness. We will learn how to be happy within ourselves. We will soon realize that we are not blaming the world for our problems, right? Rather, we will develop perspectives by which we will understand why the world is whatever it is. And what can I do, therefore, to protect myself from its onslaughts? And by being happy, how can I then spread happiness even in this otherwise, amidst all the nonsense that's going on here, right? So that's what we meant by saying truly happy. So that's the aim of the seminar. Typical questions that we have intrigued mankind. So many questions are there. Why has this world been created? Right? What is the goal of existence? Why are we existing at all? Is the purpose of our life simply to get material education, go and make some money, buy some nice branded clothes, buy a good car, impress everyone? You remember last time we talked about most of our life is invested or spent in impressing people who we don't like. Most of our life we try to impress people who we don't love, right? Because people who we love, we don't need to impress them. There is love there. We only try to impress people who otherwise are not impressed by us. Right? So what is the goal of the life? Is the goal of life to impress everyone? And then be called as a successful man only to be forgotten? Right? How many of you remembered Abraham Lincoln today, this morning? 200 years from now, who will remember? Right? Even our generation, our next generation may not even remember him. Right? So even great personalities are forgotten with the impact of time. That is what time is. Right? And we'll talk quite a lot about time in these classes. Why is there so much struggle and suffering in this world? Why do bad things happen to good people? I'm a good person. Why do bad things happen to me, right? Would you like a chair? Any one of you? Anyone uncomfortable? Would you like a chair, please? Would you be more comfortable? Mataji, can you arrange a chair, please, for the ladies here and for the the elderly gentleman behind? Some more, one or two chairs. Huh? It may be difficult to sit on the floor if you are not used to it. Yeah. Even that bench is okay. If that bench is okay, you could. Huh? Okay? All right? Okay. What about you, two ladies? Yeah. You're okay? You're fine? Okay. Okay. Fine. All right. Okay. Is there a permanent solution to the problems of life? And today we will discuss the problems of life, right? Who is God? And how do I get to know whoever he or she is? Right? What is the meaning of yoga? So many people talk about yoga, but what is the real meaning of yoga? And therefore, what are the different types of yoga? Once you understand the definition, then and the goal of yoga, then we will understand and appreciate its varieties. And then we will also understand the integration across all these various yogic processes. So these are typical questions. Of course, there are many more, but these are just illustrative questions. In the next class, we took certain fundamental questions. In class, was it class number 2? I believe so. In class number 2, in our second session, we took some fundamental questions. What was the first question? What is it that we are fundamentally seeking? Everyone, be it in Europe, be it in Australia, be it in US, be it in Middle East, be it in China, be it in Japan, in India, what is it that we are fundamentally seeking? That's a question we asked. Second question we discussed is, and the answers to that is, who really am I? Who am I? When people ask us, when someone asks me, who am I? What did I say? My name is Jagan. Hello. And that guy told me, I didn't ask your name. I asked, who are you? You are Jagan because your parents named you. But who are you? So we talked about that. Who really am I? We talked about what is the probability of getting a human form of life. Yes. Okay. There are more people joining, so humble request. Please come ahead. If you need a chair, please ask for it. Do not feel shy. We have enough chairs. There is a bench over there, you can sit. Just don't go to sleep, that's all. If you feel like sleeping, you can ask for chai. Alright. Okay. So, what is the probability of human form of life? And then, what did we discuss? What is the speciality of human form of life? We talked about probability of human form of life and we talked about speciality of human form of life. Both we talked about last class. Of course, I'll tell you the answers also for those of you who have missed. As an answer to the first question, what is it that all of us are seeking? What was the first question? Anyone remembers? Okay, let's do a test of memory. Last slide. Anyone remembers what was the first part? What is it that all of us are seeking, fundamentally seeking? Okay. So in that session, everyone in this class agreed that we are all seeking to be happy. Correct? Does anyone wants to change their view? You want to change your view? You are not seeking happiness. The gentleman behind you. You are not seeking happiness. You don't want happiness. It automatically comes. Very good. That's a good point. Happiness automatically comes. What about misery? Automatically comes. Right? Right? Very good. But would we want to be happy or would we rather want that which comes after happiness? What do we want? If we don't want happiness, why are we sitting here? The quest for eternal happiness. Right? We want to be happy. That's why we have come here. If we don't want to be happy, why will we invest time in understanding anything? Because we are okay with whatever is there. We have accepted the fact that in this world, happiness will also come automatically, as he rightly said, and misery will also come of its own accord. Right? The question is it all that automatic? Can I influence it? That's the question. Can I influence my own life in such a way that I can increase that happiness quotient and maybe not invite that automatic misery which comes, right? And we'll talk about it. 2-3 classes down the line, it will become more clearer to you, okay, where we are going. But thank you. That's an interesting point you said. So, talking about happiness, in the previous session we said happiness is often short-lived. Happiness is intermittent. It comes and goes, as you said. Happiness often comes at a price. Happiness is often relative. We base our happiness on someone else's misery sometimes. Not necessarily on someone else's happiness also, right? For example, the dental industry. The dentist is very happy if people have toothaches, right? If there are no toothaches, what will the dentist do, right? If there are no fractures, what will the physiotherapist do, right? There is no business. So happiness is often relative. Happiness is sought often in fallible things. We depend, we base our happiness on things or people who are not going to give us happiness, and then we get frustrated. That's why I said fallible things. Happiness is often deferred to the future. We think that, okay, let me work now very hard. Later on, we'll enjoy. Right? Usually in Asia, this is the mentality more. That you make a lot of money first, save everything, put it in the bank. And then later on, after retirement, we'll enjoy. Happiness is often equated with fulfillment of material desires. We always equate our happiness with purchase of a house, purchase of a car, a promotion at office. We often base our happiness on those things. And we concluded in the previous classes that happiness in this world is neither eternal nor absolute. Not eternal. And what do we want to be? We want to be eternally happy. And these are the answers which we all discussed. What is it that we are fundamentally seeking? We are seeking eternal happiness. We want to be always happy. Preferably, we want to be always happy. Does anyone go to a church or a temple and say that, oh Lord, I heard that variety is the spice of life. I have been happy for a long time. Can you please make a car hit me today? Because I have been healthy for too long. Variety is the spice of life. Will anyone go and pray like that? Nobody does that, right? Will anyone go and pray, oh Lord, oh Almighty Father, you have been giving me my daily bread. I want some variety, not bread variety. Okay? Can you please show me what hunger is all about so that I don't get my daily bread? Will anyone pray like that? Nobody is going to pray like that. Why? Because all of us want to be always happy. We don't want any impediments or blockers to our happiness. We don't want. Right? So we talked about that. So what are we seeking? Everyone is seeking eternal happiness. Even Bill Gates is seeking eternal happiness. Even Elon Musk is seeking to be eternally happy. Yes, he's trying to seek it in his own way. Bill Gates is trying to seek his own way. Right? We are trying to seek it in our own way. Who really am I? We did a simple experiment. What was the experiment we did in the class? We asked, where is Aaron today? Aaron is not there. Okay. So we had a volunteer who walked up here. We had a volunteer here. This is very important. Okay. Who am I? If we don't understand this, we will not understand anything in this class. And if we understand this, we are 50% self-realized. 50% class is over. If we understand that, who really am I? We had a volunteer come up here and then we asked the volunteer, what is this? And he said, this is my finger. This is my ear. This is my head. This is my hand. And then when we touched his jacket, he said, this is my jacket, which means he is not his jacket. As much as he is not his jacket, he was not his ear also. He was not his eye also. Because if his eyes were plucked out, he would still be the same person, right? So with this simple example, we demonstrated in the class that we are not this body. This body belongs to us. There is no doubt about that. But we are not our bodies, right? The second example which we took is the phenomenon of death. We have attended funerals, right? All of us have attended some funeral or the other, right? In the funeral, people are crying, oh, Mr. David has passed away. Okay. Mr. Gupta. Oh, there's no Mr. Gupta or Mr. David here, no, in this room. Okay. Sorry, it's purely coincidental. Okay. Coincidental, huh? Khanna is better? Okay. Okay. Mr. Khanna has passed away. Okay. So nobody is going to say, Mr. Khanna's coffin is here, the nose is here, the ears are here, the legs are also here, whereas Mr. Khanna passed away. Nobody is going to argue like that. Passed away. Who was that person inside that body? Who is no longer inside that body? Who was the tenant of that body? Who was the tenant? This body is like we are living on rent in this body. Who was the tenant inside the body whose lease agreement within this body has got over, and therefore where has the tenant gone now? So that is you. That is me. That tenant. I am the tenant of my body. Wherever the question stops, this is mine, M-I-N-E. Wherever that mine stops, and it is, this is me, and that is you. Okay. And who is that? We are the spirit soul. Then we ask the question, can we see our soul? No, we can't see our soul. Why? Because one who sees that itself, that person is the soul. The seer is the soul. When I say seer, S-E-E-R. The person who sees is the soul. Right? So there is no question of my soul, because you are the soul. Okay? We concluded that. If even these two examples were not enough, we took a third example. What was the third example? Take a childhood photograph of yours. What body did we have? The body of an infant. Then we developed the body of a youth. Then we developed the body of an adult. Then we developed the body of a 50-year-old. And then finally we developed the body of an 80-year-old. Right? 70, 80-year-old. All along, what has changed? The body is changing all the time. The person is the constant within the body. So with these three examples, we concluded in the previous classes that we are not this body. So who are we? We are soul. But there is an adjective we added before the soul. We are just the soul. We are the eternal spirit soul. Eternal. Why? Because the Bhagavad-Gita, Lord Krishna at the very outset explains to Arjun in the battlefield of Kurukshetra that, my dear Arjun, soul is energy. Energy. There was never a point in time that energy is created, nor it is destroyed. Even science says that. Right? Energy only transforms itself into various forms. Right? So we are the energy which is resident inside that body. That energy is the soul. If you like. In English, that's the closest I can tell. We are spiritual energy. All of us. We then moved on, having understood that we are, and why did we say eternal soul? Because the soul cannot be killed. You can't take a knife and pierce the soul. We can pierce the body. And we can make the soul leave the body, but we can't kill the soul. Right? Because soul is not made of matter. So in that context, we discussed the difference between material science and spiritual science. Material science deals with matter, and spiritual science deals with spirit. Right? Why do we say Holy Spirit? Do we say holy matter? Right? Holy Spirit. So spirit is holy. Then we discussed, as much as we discussed, that the soul cannot be killed. So the soul is eternal. It's on an eternal journey. In this lifetime, we are in this world in a particular body. In the next lifetime, God knows. We don't know. Can we influence what we are in our next lifetime? The answer is yes. But we'll come to that little bit later. 2-3 classes down the line. Not now. Then we talked about what is the probability of getting a human form of life. If after death, the soul will leave the body, right? But which body will the soul enter? Will the soul never enter any body? Is that a possibility? Maybe. We'll come to that also, right? There is a possibility that the soul will not enter another body. Will it enter another body? Yes, that is also possible. Which body do we want? In that context, we discussed how many of us would like to be a wombat in our next lifetime? The body of a wombat or the body of a dog, right? So, all of us agreed that we love our dog. There's no doubt about that. All of us love our dogs, right? Do we want to be a dog and someone else to be the master? Not many of us will agree, right? Some of may say, okay, fine. In the last lifetime, you served me. In this lifetime, I'll serve you. In the last time, I threw a ball and you ran after the ball and fetched. In this lifetime, you please throw the ball, I'll go and fetch it. Correct? So it depends, right? So one can get whatever body in the next lifetime. Can it be influenced? Yes. How? We will see. All these sessions will tell us how. What is the probability of a human form of life? In case anyone wants a human form of life in the next lifetime, I believe most would want, right? What is the probability? Is there any warranty? Is there any warranty card that good guys or Harvey Norman have given? That thy shall be born as a human being in next 10 million lifetimes. Nobody is saying that, right? But mathematically, we talked about what is the probability of human form of life. And what is the probability of human form of life? What is the formula we used? Mathematical formula. We said we took the entire human population. What is the entire human population? 7 billion. Okay, if you want, you can make it 8 billion if you like. Okay, it doesn't matter, right? And what is the denominator? The count of all living entities in this universe, which are moving, eating, sleeping, right? In terms of species itself, the Bhagavad-Gita says there are 8.4 million species. And one such species is the ant. The ant. And the Age newspaper last week said there are 3 trillion billion ants in this world. Some scientists must have estimated using some computer, right? Some algorithm they used, right? 3 trillion billion ants in this world. That's only one species. And there are 8.4 million species. And if you count the number in each species and 7 billion divided by that number, which means 7 billion divided by infinity, pretty much tends towards 0. The probability of a human form of life is next to 0 in future lifetimes. Right? The Bhagavad Gita says, the Vedas say that we are all evolving. To come to this human form of life, it has taken us many lifetimes. Right? Having got this human form of life now, what is the speciality of this human form of life, which is very, very rare? In that context, what did we discuss? We talked about the difference between the activities of human beings and the activities of animals. What are the 4 activities of animals that we know? And we discussed National Geographic and Lonely Planet in the last class, right? Eating, sleeping, mating or uniting, producing children, and defending. If you see every other serial of National Geographic, we discussed one episode to the other, the animal or the bird may change, but the theme is the same. How does the whale, how does it eat? How does the whale sleep? How does the whale defend itself? Right? And then what is the final one? How does it mate and produce more whales? And next week, it may be a reindeer, okay, or a jungle fox. Same theme. How does it eat? How does it sleep? How does it mate? And how does it defend? And in that context, we talked about this. The activities of eating, sleeping, mating, defending are common to the animal species and the human species. And then we introduced our first Sanskrit verse. What was that? Ahara nidra bhayamaitunamscha samanyametat pashubhir naranam Dharmo hitesho adhiko vishesho dharme nahi na pashubhir samanaha. I'll explain in English, right? It means that in this rare human form of life, which is very, very rare, it has come to us after countless lifetimes, right? If we simply live our life for the purpose of eating, sleeping better, having better union with the opposite sex or the same sex, or defending ourselves based on our big false egos that all of us have developed and fears that we have, if we only try to do these activities which are focused on these two, then we are no different to animals. And therefore, we don't deserve a human life. What is the beauty of human form of life which is not there in animal life? Animals also have some intelligence, there is no doubt about that. But animals don't have the intelligence which human beings have to inquire into the purpose of life. We have never seen birds coming together or tigers coming together to discuss the goal of life. Have you? I'm sure nobody has, right? This question can only be asked in the human form of life, which is very rare. If we do not ask that question, who am I? What is the mission? What is the purpose of my existence? Then we are no different than animals, and therefore we don't deserve a human form. I'll give you a corporate example because I work with a bank. I can give you a corporate example, right? In a bank, who is given, or in any office for that matter, in most offices, who gets a cabin? The sweeper gets a cabin or the president gets a cabin? The sweeper gets a cabin, but to sweep, to clean, right? Who gets better privileges in the office? The big boss, right? Why? Is society partial to the big boss? One should be equal to all. Give everyone a cabin in office. How does that sound? Ridiculous, right? Why is he given higher perks? Why is he given higher perks, a higher facility in office? Why? He is of more value to the organization. I may disagree. I'll say that everyone is of value to the organization. Everyone does his job.
He brings in more money, brings in more business and money. Like
He brings in more business, yes. More knowledge, okay, maybe. He has knowledge of management. The operator has more knowledge of how to do the job using the machine, which the general manager may not have, the CEO may not have. Is it knowledge? Yes. Experience, okay. If you are more experienced, you will become CEO of a company. True or false? No. Why?
Better use of his intelligence.
Better use of his intelligence for what? What is he? Okay, if I tell this word, all of you, I'm giving a clue. He is shouldering something. Responsibility. Thank you very much. He is shouldering the responsibility. If you have your own business, can you rely on others? Or all of you shoulder your responsibility. I'm going to play golf. Can you do that? Who is shouldering the most responsibility? The person who owns the business. That's why the person who owns the business has a right to take maximum out of profits out of the business, because that person is thinking about the business day in and day out. Whereas someone else will say, oh, it's time, I need to go. 5 o'clock. Does a businessman work like that? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. No, there's no 5 o'clock for a businessman. A businessman sleeping time also they're thinking, okay, what do I do tomorrow? Because they develop the strategy for the organization. They develop vision. Okay, and that requires higher intelligence. When you have that kind of when you can give direction to everyone else, that ability is why they get paid so much, right? That's why they get that cabin and that higher perks. Otherwise, everyone works hard, right? So therefore, we have got this perk or this cabin, which is called as the human body, which the animals do not have this cabin, right? We have got this human brain, which is much more evolved than the brains of animals, right? So if we waste this facility, If a general manager or vice president or president of the company sits in his cabin and then he goes down, he says, I'm just fed up. I'm going to start the lathe machine and I'm going to work. Give me all the tools. Give me spanner. Give me, the hammer. Give me the nails. I'm going to start working there. What's the point then? Somebody has to do that job, right? Right? So, if we lose or waste our human intelligence only in activities which animals are also can do automatically, which is eating, sleeping, mating, defending, then we lose the human form of life. I am not saying this. The Bhagavad-Gita says that. I am not saying this. Right? Okay. Now that then theme brings us to today's topic. Today's topic is, if all of us want to be eternally happy, then what stops our journey? What stops our happiness? What are the blockers to being always happy? Right? That's what we are going to discuss today. Yeah, we'll come to that. Yes, expectation. Yes. To be able to discuss this topic logically, we have divided this topic of the blockers to eternal happiness into some themes. What is the first theme that we'll discuss? What is the characteristic of a real problem of life? If you ask, what are the problems of life? People will have so many things, right? So many views. But what is the real problem, a fundamental problems of life? But even before we discuss fundamental problems of life, what they are, we want to define what is the definition of a fundamental problem. How do we define a fundamental problem? In the dictionary, fundamental problem, what does it mean? We'll talk about that. What is the characteristic of a real problem? And then, based on that definition, we'll discuss what are the real problems of life. Because we know we have a definition of what is the real problem, right? And then, we'll discuss, if time permits. I don't know. If time permits, it's 8:14. Maybe we may not have time for that today, but we'll try, we'll see. How does technology address these real problems of life, right? So this is our theme for today. So let's begin by discussing what are the characteristics of a real fundamental problem. Anyone wants to participate? Yes? Ego. Okay. Is that the characteristic of a real problem, or ego is a problem? Ego is a problem, but we are not discussing what is a problem. We are talking about what is the definition of a real problem.
Poverty?
Sorry? Poverty is a big problem. There's no doubt about that. But poverty is not the characteristic of a problem. Yeah.
When something don't happen the way we want it to happen.
Okay. If something does not happen the way we want it to happen, that's a characteristic of a real problem. Right? Good. Very good. Yes. Sorry? Change of thought process. Yeah. Chain of thought. Okay. Chain of thought process. Okay. Interesting. Yes. Sorry? Not being happy. Okay. Is the characteristic of a real problem. Yes. Which comes in the way of our happiness. Yes. That's a real problem. All the time it comes in the way of my happiness. Yes. Amit ji. Acceptance. Okay. Acceptance is a problem or is good?
Not accepting.
Not being accepted. That's a problem. Okay. Miseries. Okay. Sorry? Fears. Okay. Desires. Okay. We are now coming to problems now. Okay. Okay. I'll unravel the mystery. Okay. A problem is a real problem if it is common to everyone. Right? Not that dentist example. Right? I have a toothache. Somebody is happy. My car got I bumped against a tree and I damaged my bumper. You are very happy. A mechanic is very happy, right? Business for you. Right? Insurance company is not very happy because they have to pay out. Right? Customer is happy, especially if it was a nonsense car and we get good money out of insurance. Right? We are happy, but insurance is miserable. Right? Who likes to pay taxes? Right? Oh, ATO, can I give you more? Oh, tax consultant, can you advise more how I can contribute to the general tax in this country? Does anyone go to a tax consultant for that purpose? Right? So when we pay tax, we are miserable. But the ATO is very happy. So what is a problem for me is not a problem for the ATO. When I fracture my leg, it's a problem for me. But the, what is that? Orthopedic surgeon is very happy because he is in business now. Right? Alfred Hospital is in business. So a problem is a real problem when it is common to everyone. Or everyone agrees that it's a problem. Nobody will say, no, it's not a problem for me. I am outside of this. No, it's common to all. When I say common to all, it's okay. A problem is a fundamental real problem if it is common to all. When I say common to all, that problem is common to Elon Musk, that problem is common to the person who doesn't know where to get his next meal from. Let's say, hypothetically I'm saying, let's say Ethiopia. It's a very poor country, right? Sudan. Okay? There's a beggar in Sudan and Ethiopia, and there's Elon Musk on one end. But this problem is a fundamental problem if it's common to both of them. Right? Which means that problem has to be universal, common across the globe to everyone. Then it's a fundamental problem. It's a real problem. The next characteristic of a real problem is nobody wants it for themselves, that problem, nor do we want it for our near and dear ones, the people who we love. Right? Then it's a real problem. Nobody goes and prays saying that, can I get this problem? No, nobody wants it. If you go with the problem, I'm giving you this problem. Would you like it? They'll say, oh, no. If you go to Elon Musk, he'll say no. If you go to that guy in Sudan, he'll say no. I don't want. Even if you go to an animal, forget about human species, animals, this problem is common to all, which means even animal. If you ask an animal, do you want it? Animal will also say no in its own way. Right? So a problem is a real problem if it is common to all. If nobody wants that problem for themselves or their near and dear ones, and nobody can solve it even if they try their best. Nobody can do a damn about it. That means it's a real problem. It's common to all. Nobody wants it and nobody can do any damn thing about it. Then it's a big problem. Right? So this is how the Bhagavad-Gita approaches. The Bhagavad-Gita classifies what is the real problem of life. What is the definition of a real problem? Now we can start discussing problems. Which problem fits all these categories, ticks all these boxes? Yes. Pardon? COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. Who has benefited? Yes. Some of them invested in pharmaceutical stocks also. But you are close to the answer, not quite close. Yes. Yes. Who said that? Wonderful. Sickness. Common to all? Yes. Nobody wants it for themselves and their loved ones? Yes. Nobody can solve it, even if they try their best. Can you say, I will never become sick in my life? Yes, you can address a specific sickness for some time. But is there any guarantee? No. Right? Okay. Yes. Hunger. Yes. Hunger, common to all? Yes, but not common to all, right? Nobody wants it, yes. Can people solve it? Actually, hunger can be solved. Hunger can be solved, right? I was hearing a class on behavioral economics. Okay. Very experts in the world have spoken, right? The problem of hunger in this world is artificial. It's not, nature has not ordained for some people to not get food. It's man who has ordained for people not to get food. Nature has not ordained, right? When it rains everywhere. right? So not common to all. Yes, someone else had a point here. Someone was saying something. Yes.
Eternal happiness.
Eternal happiness is the characteristic of a real problem. I thought we want eternal happiness. That's the quest. Death. Sickness.
Pain.
Death. Pain. Yes, we are getting there. Yes, these are the problems. Yes. Death. Common to all. Everyone agrees this much. Nobody wants it for themselves. I said no in one of the programs when I said death, nobody wants it for themselves. One lady said, I'm not afraid of death. I said, what about your daughter? Oh no! My daughter! I love her. No, yeah, we may not be afraid of death. I may be willing to go to Afghanistan and fight or wherever and fight the terrorists. Right? Or any country. I don't know, wherever. I may go to India and fight the terrorists in Kashmir. Right? But if my daughter is on that battlefield, do I want it for her? I am willing to give up my life, but would I want my daughter to give up her life? Normally, no mother will want that, right? Or daughter or son, right? So no.
Attachment as well.
Sorry?
Attachment, would that be a problem?
Attachment, yes, that's a good point. We will come to that. We will come to that gradually. Yes, very good point. Okay. So, disease, which sickness or disease, death, two problems. Anything else?
Old age.
Old age, very good. Okay, as long if one lives long, it's common to everyone. If someone is living, old age will come to everyone. Nobody is going to stay forever young, right? Old age, yes.
Nature disaster. Nature.
Yes, very good. Natural disasters. Natural disasters, it doesn't say, oh, it's Elon Musk's house. Let the tsunami not hit his house. Will nature differentiate? No way. It won't differentiate. Oh, this is Albert Park, the most prestigious suburb. So tornado, thy shall not hit Albert Park. Because the gross domestic product, whatever, the income of this. No. If a tsunami comes, it's going to hit everyone. Right? Okay, good. Natural disasters. Very nice. Anything else? Think, come on.
Fear.
Fear, okay. Common to all.
Old age. Old age.
Old age, yes, we discussed that already. What else?
Struggle.
Okay.
Loneliness.
Loneliness, common to all.
Sadness.
Nobody can solve it. Nobody can solve the problem of loneliness.
Is it common? No.
Loneliness, it doesn't fit all the characteristics. It may fit some characteristics, but something which fits all the characteristics. Okay. I am going to give you the answer. Okay? Birth. I don't agree. Happy birthday to you. Does anyone say sad birthday? No. Does anyone sing like that? Nobody sings. If someone sings like that, they'll be thrown out. So why have you come here? Is something wrong with you, mate? Have you had some drinks? Too much? Are you high? Right? So, yes, very difficult to accept that birth is a big problem. Let's look at it little philosophically and let us look at it realistically also. In case someone believes that no, we are philosophizing too much. It is birth which leads to disease, old age and death. If you are not born, there is no question of disease. If the soul does not enter a body, there is no question of old age. What is old age? Old age is the soul of the phenomenon. Old age is the phenomenon of the soul or of the body. What ages? The soul ages or the body ages?
Body.
There you go. Right? So, what is the problem with birth? Entering this body, which has to then go through disease, old age and death. Therefore, birth is a problem. Because birth is the reason why other three exist. Right? That's why sometimes we say, thank God, that person has passed away. He was miserable in hospital. Now, he is free of that body. Why do people say like that? Why do people speak like that? That doesn't require knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita or Bible, right? Or Quran. It doesn't need that. It's common sense, right? People say, "Oh, he's out of that miserable body," right? So what is the concept of euthanasia or mercy killing? To relieve that personality or the soul which is trapped inside a body which is giving pain to the soul. So relieve that soul from that body. Mercy. Give mercy. Right? So birth is the problem. Now I'll talk little bit of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is also another scripture from the Vedas. Right? It's a graduate study. After one studies Bhagavad-Gita, one studies Srimad Bhagavatam. There is an entire chapter. If you'll be amazed. I was amazed. When I studied Srimad Bhagavatam, there are entire chapters which talks about what happens to the soul when it enters the womb of a mother. There are Sanskrit verses which say in the first month this happens, in the second month this happens, in the third month this happens. Trust me, when was this written? Millions of years back. There was no X-ray, there was no sonography, there was nothing. There was no, what is that? Pediatrician and what is that? Obstetrician. There's nothing like that. Where's our doctor today? Oh, you're a doctor. Yes. You're a dentist. There's one more doctor also other than you. There are two doctors, that means. One doctor number. Where's that your friend? He went to Western Australia. Okay, fine. Okay. So, what was the point anyway? What was I saying? Yeah, obstetrician. Why was I saying this? Huh? Yes, the Bhagavatam systematically talks about verses which clearly tell what happens to that. And at that time there was none of the scientific equipments existed at that time. Another thing which placed my faith in the scriptures. When did the world know that the earth was round? Go back. Go to your education. Who said? Who traveled around the world and declared that the earth was flat? Who knows? Columbus. He traveled all around and said it's flat. And then what happened? Galileo invented and then someone looked, oh, hang on. But with the telescope you can't find out whether the earth is round. You have to go outside the earth to find out that the earth is round. So we had to send something outside and then look at ourselves. And then we found that the earth was round. But the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas already say that the earth is round. There was no telescope at that time. I'll give you an example. What is geography called as in Sanskrit? Bhugol Shastra. What is Gol in Sanskrit? Gol means round. That is the Vedas, right? It doesn't require modern science. Whatever we know today is an offshoot of that original knowledge which is given by God. That knowledge is getting lost, unfortunately, right? That has already been described there. So when I studied the sections of what happens to the child inside the womb, trust me, the child is not having a good time. Okay, I forgot to mention one thing. I'm so sorry. I should have been responsible when I told you this. Today's class will go at least for next 4 or 5 hours. It's okay with everyone? Okay? Okay. But I have another requirement. None of you should move from your place. Okay? Just be seated in that place. Don't move! We will decide when you have to be fed. We will decide that. You don't have a choice of what you want to eat, how much you want to eat. We will decide that. Sorry, I didn't tell you that. I was joking. Obviously, you guessed what I'm saying. This is the child inside the womb of the mother. How many of you would like to sit 9 months in a constricted space having no independence? And then to be pulled out or through cesarean. Has any child come out till today? All of you mothers, I'm asking. Saying that, hey, how's it going? I've arrived. I'm so happy. Ask the mother, hey, you look pregnant. And then she says, I'm rushing to the hospital. So will you say, oh, you must be getting labor pleasure, right? What do people say? Labor? Pain. Is it labor pleasure? Is anyone says, oh, it's a pleasurable experience? Yes. After the child is born, everything is pleasurable. But the whole process of those 9 months, the men will never understand this as much as the lady will understand. Because it's the lady who takes that responsibility, right? The man can eat anything. The man has done his job and gone. That's why mother's position is bigger than the father's position, right? That's why woman is great. Because it's the lady who shoulders labor pain. The husband only distributes sweets after that. And he can go to Bunnings and buy certain things. Right? But if you ask the husband, even after marriage sometimes when the lady says, can you take care of the child? Oh, I can't handle, you handle. Right? Okay. This is why mother is called as mother. Right? So, neither for the mother, and during those 9 months, can the mother eat anything? She feels like eating, spicy things. Can't eat. Doctors say, don't smoke. Can't do anything. Don't take alcohol. Right? Because everything, the child is also drinking that. Whatever we are drinking. Right? Right? So, therefore, birth is a problem. Right? But it's common to all. Is everyone born? Elon Musk was born. The Syrian fellow, not that fellow, what is that? Which country? I said Sudan. The poor man. Was he born? Yes, he was born. Right? Now, birth itself is a problem for both of them. One was born to become Elon Musk. One was born, poor fellow, he was born in. What if Elon Musk would have been born in Ethiopia? In the jungles. Right? He could have still become whatever, I don't know. But it's not a very conducive environment for getting the best of education in your life. Right? Right? There are more. While some of us are discussing whether we should send our children to a grammar school or not, some other parents in this world are thinking, when can I feed my child the next meal? That's how disparate or different existence is. That's how different it is. Two different spectrums. Somebody has some other problem. Last time we discussed, right? I was crying because I did not get what? Nike shoes. Until I saw a man who had no feet. Right? Problems are different for different people, right? So birth is the root cause of other problems. By birth, people can be born blind. People can be born lame. I had one of my friends whose wife delivered. That child has, what is that? Forgot the name of that syndrome. Down syndrome. Right? Is birth a problem? Yes. Right? Disease, as she rightly pointed out. Relay, right? Relay, as Relay pointed out. Disease, sickness. It can impact anyone. It impacts. Has anyone not been sick at all? Would you like to have? Can you prevent? I have taken 2 vaccines. Nothing will happen to me now. Can anyone say proudly? 2 vaccines I have taken. I am fully protected. And then you walk like this. And then a tree falls on your head. Died, gone. Right? Or you trip somewhere and you fracture your hand. Right? So, disease, ailments can attack anyone at any point in time. Nobody can do anything about it. Old age. Oh, I use Revlon cosmetics. I've bought the best wrinkle-free cream from the market. The entire cosmetic industry is thriving on this. The fear of old age. Am I looking old? No. People will always tell you, oh, you look so young. It's the best way to please your boss on a Monday morning. Oh, you don't look 50. Come on. Oh, really? Right? So old age, people try to hide. People get some sense of happiness if someone tells them you look very young. Right? Hair dyes. The whole hair dye industry is also operating on this principle. And if you can't dye, at least artificial hair. Put something on top of it. Then they put these nails, right? A person who's having this much of nails, but you stick that and then this much big. Let me not only target the ladies, it's not fair to them. Men as well. hair dye. Men put hair dyes, wig. Right? So the whole of the industry is operating on this. Old age. But can you avoid it by using cosmetics? No way. Who has surmounted this? Not one person. No one. No one can escape the jaws of death. So, these are real problems. Common to all. Nobody wants it for themselves or their near and dear ones. And whatever you do about it, you can't surmount it. You can't do a damn about these problems. Nobody can do anything about these problems. Right? Real problems of life. Okay. Enough of bad news? No, little bit more. Sorry, but we'll give you a solution also. Right? As if this is not important in existence, there are three more. That's a different category in itself. These are, in one sense, a category. There's one more category, and you will see it. Problems because of one's own body and mind. In Bhagavad-Gita, they are called as what? Adhyatmik klesh. Adhyatmik klesh. It is said that mental ailments will be the number one, it is already said to be the number one problem in this world. 1 in 3 guys are in depression. Right? Everybody is running towards that psychologist. Right? Or psychiatrist. And then one psychiatrist is visiting another psychiatrist. Because that fellow is also miserable. Just imagine whole day you are bombarded. Oh, I am miserable, I have this problem, I have that problem. Blah, 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 blah. 8 hours you do. Oh my God, you are also miserable after that. Right? You also need to go to another psychiatrist. Because you are taking all these toxins. Where do you release your own toxins which you have taken? Right? You have to see someone else for that. Right? So, misery is because of one's own body and mind, and that's why somebody said expectations. Who was that? Someone here said expectations, right? Yes. Wonderful point. We are all victims of the expectations of our own mind. We are all victims. We can't do anything. We are happy, but our mind is restless. The mind is restless. It will not allow you to sit in one place. Again, this morning, behavioral economics. I was hearing in that theme, I'm hearing few classes. And I was hearing this, that they did an experiment. They caught the youth in the United States. And they told them, all you have to do is sit in one place for 15 minutes and do nothing. Sit in one place for 15 minutes and do nothing. They found that most of the people could not do that. They couldn't sit for 15 minutes in one place and do nothing. They had to do something or the other. Right? Because the mind is driving you. You can't sit in one place. It's not possible. So misery is because of one's own body and mind. As if that is not enough, we have miseries caused by other living entities. What happened in, which country was that? Shooting this morning? Taiwan. Thailand. Did innocent people being killed, innocent children being shot dead. What was their fault? Shooting as usual. What happens in the United States? We are learning good lessons from them. We are importing good practices. Right? Sorry, I am being sarcastic, but yeah. Right? So, this. And what happens? Today's technology, what does it do? Shoot! Computer games, you shoot, keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. If you see the youth of today, the children of today, what are they doing on the computer game? They are shooting. And who are they shooting? At least earlier days, we had games where people shoot the devils, right? Today, they are shooting the cops. That's a game. What's that called as? Which game is that? Huh? GTF. GTA. Yeah, there's a game. Grand what? Theft auto. Yes. Grand theft auto. I said, why are you killing the policeman? Where is the thief? I asked. Where is the criminal? No, Dad. We are going against the cops. And where does it start? It starts with media. It starts with various songs. Right? I've heard many, I used to hear a lot of songs. I'm a big fan of 1980s rock music. So we had so many songs we heard, no? We don't need no education. We had so many songs like that, right? So there's songs, there's media, right? There's a counterculture that's happening, that's coming. Okay, I'm not blaming that song specifically, but I'm saying that there are there's a lot of hype around this. It's seen as you're cool if you do this. If you shoot the police, then you're a cool guy. Right? So, first of all, these computer games give you a false sense of achievement. There's nothing that has happened. It's all happening in a virtual world, in the mind. Right? It makes the head also dull. Right? So, the media is also bombarding. And influenced by this, things are happening. Things are happening in this world. So, someone turned a gun on someone. I come from Mumbai. Some of my friends or their relatives, they died. One day, they were just returning from their jobs and there was a bomb blast in the train. Boom, gone. Right? In the United States, people were just going about their day-to-day jobs, their day-to-day businesses. And then suddenly some aircraft comes and flies through your floor. And then you're finished before you even know what hit you. At least we know what hit them. They didn't even live to know what hit them. Right? It's miserable. This is called as Adi Bhautika Klesh. Misery is caused by other living entities. Common to all. Anybody wants it? Can we do anything about it really? The best of governments can't do it. The best of arms and ammunition that the military has can't. Why? Because these arms are in the hands of people who don't have that education. They don't know what to do with it. Right? So can material education solve this problem? Can technology solve this problem? In fact, the proliferation of technology has resulted in problems. Right? Where a country is constantly threatening other countries that we will release the nuclear button. And they're sending, all the time they're sending these, whatever rockets or whatever they call, right? They keep firing every time to give a message to the world, right? So, this is another problem. Can't do anything. Natural disturbances, you said. This is called as Adi Daivika Klesh. Act of God, they call it as, right? In the insurance industry also they'll tell you, if it's an act of God, then we don't cover your insurance. Right? How many cars can be covered by insurance if there is a tsunami? Of course, if we survive to be able to drive. Right? Can natural disasters happen? No, it doesn't happen in Melbourne. How many of you had an experience of the earthquake? What were you expecting immediately after that? What was your worst fears? Especially, I live near the beach side. My God, my house is number one in the list. Right? Even then when I'm thinking, what am I thinking? My house is the number one. I'm not thinking I am the number one. That's our attachment. Someone said attachment here, right? Right? This is how we are. We are living in a world full of danger. Who is saying this? I'm not saying this. Prahlad Maharaj. All of you know Prahlad? Okay, you may not be, but because we come from India, so Prahlad was a great saint. Since his childhood, he was a child prodigy. He was a saint right from childhood. He had spiritual wisdom since the time that he was in the womb of his mother, right? So he has given his prayers to Lord Narasimhadev. He says, this material world is fraught with danger at every step. Padam padam vipadam hitesham. At every step there is danger in this material world. Right? So nobody is going to dispute this. Nobody, hang on, I can do something about it. Nobody. The best of governments can't do anything. Right? Even the so-called peace efforts that are happening in this world, are we able to attain universal peace and brotherhood? Has the United Nations been successful? Some of the most intelligent bureaucrats and administrators are sitting there, educated in Harvard, Stanford, Stern School of Business. What better can it get? Yale University, Booth School of Business. They are sitting there, right? Have they been able to bring in world peace? The best of the so-called whatever, right? The best scientists are sitting in MIT, right? In Cambridge. Can't. Why? Every year you will see the number of flags outside the United Nations. Is it increasing or decreasing? It's increasing. Different ideologies. Different flag means different. It's not just about nowadays flags have ceased to be as a result of geographical differences. Nowadays flags are increasing because of ideological differences. Right? So, inhibitors to eternal happiness. Any of this can attack us at any point in time and stop our material journey. Anytime it can happen, right? So if we think that the goal of life is just to go to work, make some nice money, and I live ever after. Think about this. I'm all sorted out. I have got a property by the beach. You'll be the first one, number one in the line, right? Okay. Okay, what happens? Why is this not moving? 9 o'clock. Oh. I still have 11 minutes. I have a clock here. I'm going to stop sharp at 9. Okay. Now, why did we discuss all these problems? To come to understand what is the goal of human life. What is the goal of this rare human life where we have sat and discussed this for 1.5 hours? No animal can do it. If we have an animal body, we can't go. We can't come to Altona Meadows and say, oh, come on, let's discuss about, the fundamental problems of life. No, it's only the prerogative of human form of life. So having discussed all these problems, now what is the goal of human life? What do the scriptures say? What is the goal of human life? Who can read it? Loudly. Yes, you can read it. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, you read it then. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
To inquire about the permanent solution for the real problems of life and find out how to get eternal happiness.
Everyone agrees? Now? Yeah? To inquire about what solution? Permanent solution. I don't want patchwork. I don't want cosmetics to hide my wrinkles. Is there a possibility I'll never get old? For the real problems, not the symptoms of the problem. Right? Wrinkles on the face is a symptom of a problem. Right? And find out how to get eternal happiness, not temporary happiness. Patchwork, not temporary happiness. That's the goal of human life. In these classes, in the ensuing workshops that we have, we'll be climbing the ladder of knowledge gradually. Please keep coming. All right. How does technology address the real problems of life? These are some of the ways in which we are trying to address. Right?
By prevention.
Yeah?
Or preventing,
Not preventing, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, true. Ventilator. My father went on a ventilator. Ventilator is usually a one-way traffic. Right? In India, they artificially put you on ventilators. Nowadays, I heard. That day only. Doctor was telling us the other day, right? People have KPIs. In business, it's good to have KPIs, key performance indicators, and SLA, service level agreements, but not for a doctor. Doctors also have SLAs and KPIs. SLAs are good in one sense, treat the patient if it's a high severity, attend within the first whatever time. But they have KPIs, key performance indicators. My dear doctor, you have to bring so much business to the hospital. Oh, what nonsense that is, right? That directly goes against the principles of why someone became a doctor in the first place. Doctor is not meant to, live to only make money. Doctor is not a commercial profession. It's a noble profession, right? But yeah, so this is how we are trying to address. Prolong. How do we address body and mind issues? Misery is caused because of one's own mind. Psychiatry and counseling. How long does it work? Has someone been eternally happy? Have you seen, after I receive it, psychiatric counseling, I have no problems left in my life. I am going to be joyful till I die. Has anyone come out like that? I haven't heard anyone. If you know someone, please tell me. Problem because of other living entities. No problem. I have set up security cameras all around. Nobody can enter this house except coronavirus. No camera could detect coronavirus. Right? Somehow the poisonous snake entered and bit. I will put camera. What to do? Right? No security systems can give. Natural disturbances, engineering, design. I lived in Japan for 1.5 years, in Tokyo, in a place called Kawasaki. Japan is the most earthquake amongst, in the world, right? So, trust me, there were so many earthquakes and I was living in probably 11th floor or something like that. I didn't feel anything because the buildings are designed to sway and for you not to feel it. Now, that's technology. That's technology at its best, right? But the earthquake got Japan by tsunami, right? And that too in Fukushima, right? Nuclear reactor. And then there was a big threat. Can't do anything. The most technologically advanced country in the world. Trust me, after living 1.5 years in Japan, I went to Los Angeles and I felt Los Angeles was a third world country. If I had gone to India, I don't know what I would have said. Because I was used to walking through the door. And then when I went, I thought, oh, manual door, I was going to bang into that. Everything is so automated there, right? Right? So everything is completely different. The technology is different. And I am talking about 2001, 2002 that I lived there. After that, I went to North America. I lived in US and then in Canada for another 3 years, right? I couldn't find that technology anywhere in this world, in what Japan had. Out of the world. Everything is out of the world, right? Including the people. I found some of the most courteous people in Japan. You drop something, you can go and find it in the same place. I don't know if it is today that way. 20 years have gone. I don't know. Culturally, if Japan has changed, but that was it. If you ask for help to someone, hey, how do you go? That time there was no GPS was just coming, 2001. If you ask someone some address, he'll walk you till that house. He or she. They'll walk you and then they'll bow down to you. That's the courtesy. I go into a bank, all of them will stand up when a customer comes in and then say, Onegai ishimasu. Right? And then when you go out, they'll say, Arigato gozaimashita. Everybody will say, thank you. And then I went, and I landed in Los Angeles in the night and I went to this Starbucks coffee or something. And then the lady at the counter, oh my goodness. It was as if, why did you enter this shop? Right? Of course. So culturally there is something, I'm not saying it may be just one bad lady that or maybe she was in a foul mood on that day, maybe she was having a bad day. I can't generalize anything. But I'm just saying this is some commonality that I found. But even in that country, despite their struggle after the bombing of, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they built the whole country. And then everyone contributes in that country, right? People are working. In Japan, the work culture is no one gets up before 10 o'clock in the night. I myself work like that. I couldn't, right? Once I asked my database administrator, do you ever go home? He says, no, I go home on weekends. Because we used to see him brushing his teeth in the morning in the office. Right? And he takes his bath, he brings his bag, he lives in office, right? So it was a terrible, that's one thing that I did not enjoy. But of course, I had a strength to work that many hours at that time. Now, no way I can do that, right? Going at 8 o'clock in the morning and then coming out always at 10:30, 11, and then working on Saturdays also, right? I can't do that now, right? That's why I went to the United States. And then I specifically went to the West Coast, not to the East Coast. West Coast is wild. On Thursday afternoon, everyone is like in a weekend mood. Right? It's a wild west, they call it as. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that. But the point is that despite all this technology, despite all this prevalence of culture, even they are suffering. Right? So nobody is immune to these blockers to eternal happiness. No nation is immune. No human being, regardless of caste, creed, nationality, color, gender, nothing. Nobody is immune to these problems. That is the point we are trying to drive today. So, coming back, what is the goal of life vis-a-vis what technology offers? The goal of life is to inquire about the permanent solution for the real problems of life and how to find eternal happiness. Not technology, which offers temporary solution for the symptoms of the real problems, resulting in temporary cessation of misery and moreover generating newer problems along the way. Technology has solved some problems, but it has also created other problems. So it's a patchwork. You solve a problem here, it starts burning somewhere else. Right? You excavate something to get oil, it solves one problem. On the other hand, because you are disturbing the equilibrium of the earth, something else happens somewhere else. Right? Automobiles, yes, I can travel faster to my home country. Right? But because of pollution, what happens? There is global warming. Right? So, that's what technology does. So, technology is not going to give eternal happiness. Thank you. 9 o'clock. Any questions or comments? And then we'll have nice food now. That's the best part. We are talking all sad things today. Trust me. We'll talk good things in the next class. And so I'm so sorry. First class of yours, I've given all negative stuff. You'll say, hang on, man. No. I don't want to see his face again. Negative fellow. Always talking bad things. No. But we need to be aware. We need to have a healthy paranoia. Healthy paranoia, not unhealthy paranoia. Just like we need to know if we have diabetes, right? Because, oh doctor, don't be negative. No, you have diabetes. Now you can do something about it. At least the problems are diagnosed, right? Okay. Questions, comments? Nothing? Is everyone awake? Yes, you have a question or a comment? Okay, you can take the mic, please. Can someone pass the mic to her? Okay, go for it.
Okay, I was asking, and this question I had last class as well. So you said, you had given these examples of how the body changes but the soul remains, right? But in a lot of cultures and in a lot of self-help books, to generalize, they say you evolve as a person, right? So the Madhulika I am today, I wasn't 5 years ago. Like the way I process emotions or the way I look at things or the maturity for that factor. So how can you still say that the Madhulika I was when I was 5 years old versus the Madhulika I am today, it's still the same soul? Because I don't relate to the person I was 5 years ago.
Good question. Very good question. So, we discussed in the previous class that who are we? Let's go back to that. Who are we? We are the spirit soul, right? It's not our soul. We are the soul. Does that make sense? We are that which is inside the body. On top of that, there is a covering. What is a covering that we have on top of that? What is it called as? Subtle body, not gross body. Subtle body. The soul is covered by subtle body. Why we call subtle? Subtle is that which you can't see necessarily, but which is still there. Right? That's why it's called subtle body. What's the subtle body made up of? Three things, three elements. What are the three elements? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. There is soul covered by subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego. Mind, intelligence, and false ego come under the category of spirit or matter? Matter. Thank you very much. Now your concepts are clear. It is not spirit. Spirit is that which is you. You are spirit. But your mind, your intelligence, and your false ego are not spirit. They are subtle matter. It's a subtle covering that you have. Okay? Just like hardware is gross body and software is subtle body. Does software influence hardware? It does. Right? So your hardware is your gross body. What's the gross body made up of? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Right? Now, when we say that I had a particular level of maturity in my childhood, and now I have a different kind of maturity in my adulthood, what is changing? The body has changed? Yes. Body has changed, right? We have a body of an adult. Nobody will say no. Has the subtle body changed? Yes. So it's a symptom of the change to the subtle body. Your intelligence, when you grow up, can go whichever way. Right? In fact, it is said that the intelligence of a human being, we experience that all around us, that we become more and more intelligent. Like suppose I start crying. You'll say, what's wrong with this guy, man? But if that baby starts crying, nobody will say, what's wrong with your child? Nobody is going to say that. Why? Because that child is demonstrating the intelligence of that age, which is appropriate to that age. If I start doing that, you'll think, who is this idiot? Why is he behaving like a madman? Right? So, as we grow up, naturally what happens? By experiencing this world, we are designed to get that maturity. Right? And by experiencing this world, by interacting with people, we become more and more mature. So we know what to do in public, we know what not to do in public. So material life teaches us some lessons, and therefore our intelligence becomes sharper and sharper. But at the same time, we have seen that what happens when old age comes. Many times we see, sometimes the more elderly you get, you start behaving like a child. That also happens. So you cannot just say that intelligence will go on maturing forever till death. In fact, in this world, there is what is they call as proselytizing, right? You know what's proselytizing, right, in English? Yeah. So, or people who are told that you take the young people whose otherwise intelligence is very good, right? They are being told, take this gun and go and kill everyone. And then you will be greeted by virgins in heaven who you can enjoy. And people do that. People do that thinking that they are very intelligent. Right? Is it a very intelligent activity? No. So therefore, we have to understand that the intelligence which we derive from this material world is not pure intelligence. Later on, we will see that the soul does not need this subtle body, nor does it need this gross body for its existence. The soul is called as Sat Chit Anand, that which is eternal, which has got all knowledge that needs to be known, and which has got all the happiness within itself. In fact, you will see that this body has got a tendency to constrain the abilities of the soul, to restrain it, to constrain it, to constrict the soul. This body is not liberating. This body is actually binding. Just like, for example, suppose I asked you to run with bare feet. Okay, that's one way of running. And then if I give you the latest Nike Air shoes, then you may be able to run faster, right? But then if I tell you, okay, I'll give you Nike Air shoes, but then I'll put a big iron ball and chain you, and then you run with Nike shoes, what happens? The Nike shoes has the ability to run. You have an ability to run bare feet also. But now you have been constrained by this huge metal ball which is attached to your feet. So this material body is like that metal ball. which inhibits you from realizing your true potential, right? The soul is having all the knowledge that is required to function, but this acquired material body restrains it. But this material body also makes us believe that we are actually maturing. It makes us believe that we are maturing because the subtle body keeps on changing the gross body from childhood to adulthood, and we get a perception that we are maturing. Okay, but our maturity is not dependent on our material body. Okay, I know it's too philosophical that I'm speaking, but this aspect we will only know if we engage in mantra meditation. Only when we engage in mantra meditation we will understand this. Not everything can be explained theoretically, right? But this is the theoretical answer, if that helps for now. Okay, I might have answered 50%, 10%, I don't know, but you will get your answer not only by knowledge but by practice. It will come to you automatically. Hold on for a few more classes. All right, so we will serve prasadam now. Okay, if there are more questions, I'm happy to take it. I'm going to be having honoring food here, spiritual food here, and you'll give the plate to everyone there. Okay, the plate is going to arrive at your place, so just be seated, it will come to you. Okay, all right. I can take any more question if you like. Yes, Maha.
One question.
Tell me.
The
Previous slide, you have a question? Yes.
It's not a question, it's just the one before. So there's three. The side of the miseries.
Oops. 1 minute, I'll come to that. Yeah, I'll come to that.
And the miseries, the moon. I just want to check up on the characteristics.
This one, no?
So the Adhyatmika, one body and mind.
Yes.
It's not a question, but it's just a clarification.
Yes. You can speak on the mic so others can
Is it
hear.
also similar to desires?
Yes.
Can be interchangeably used in this context?
Yes, it is about the desires. Because you speak Tamil, there is a song, Aasaye alai bole. Alavillai, correct. So there is no end to the waves. Material desires are like the waves in the ocean. They keep coming, they keep coming, they keep coming. You can't do anything about it, right? So you are right, yes. Your point is right, valid. Yes. Anything else? Yes, you have a question? No? No. All right, if there are no questions, then enjoy your prasadam and please come next time. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.